Toyota is in the later stages now of developing the Crown SUV, or the Crown Sport as they call it. We're gonna have a look at this design because there's something crazy going on with this design, which I think you know what it is already just based on the title of this video. And also just looking at this car, you can clearly see that it takes some heavily inspired cues from a different brand. But before we do that, let's have a look at this article from topspeed.com. I'm gonna link this down in the description. Let's see what's going on here. So the 16th generation Crown was unveiled in July 2022, showcasing a range of different body types: Crown Crossover, the Sport Sedan, and the Crown Estate. We already got the Crown Sedan over here in the US. They call it a sedan, which here I think I don't know how it's marketed in the US, but it is a very strange looking design, the Crown Sedan. It is a sedan. It feels like Toyota really wanted to make a sedan, but he also wanted to make a lot of sales here in the US, so they had to lift it up and turn it into an off-road looking sedan. Very weird proportions. So here's what I'm talking about. Look at the similarities between the Purosangue and the new Crown SUV. We're gonna have a look at this from a front, side, and rear when we jump into Photoshop and just show you how similar these two actually are. Toyota President Akio Toyoda described the upcoming Crown Sport as a new type of sports SUV with an emotional and creative atmosphere, an easy to ride and easy to drive package, and an agile and sporty driving experience. And I have to say, it looks a lot better than the Crown Sedan, that's for sure. The Crown Sport bears a striking resemblance to Ferrari's first SUV, the Purosangue, attracting attention and excitement from car enthusiasts. I don't know if this is a good thing or not, having it be this similar to the Purosangue. Let me know what you think about that down in the comments below. And while the regular Crown Sedan is confirmed for the US market, replacing the Avalon, the positioning of the new sporty SUV is less clear. However, as I said, it's an SUV. Probably gonna bring it over here. I'm not so sure about the wagon version of the Crown. And if they bring it here, we'll be slotting between the RAV4 and the Highlander. So, with that said, let's jump into Photoshop and let's have a look at what's going on in Toyota's design studios. Are they looking to south of Italy for inspiration or what? I think definitely, I wouldn't call it they copied Ferrari, but let's say that they were heavily inspired by what Ferrari's done with their first SUV. So have a look at these designs here. We have the, yes, I know it's hard to tell, but the Crown is actually up here, and then you have the Purosangue down here. And look at the treatment in the front end, just how similar these are, with these bars going across the front end and then into this C-shape design of the headlights, exactly like we have in the Purosangue. And keep in mind that the Purosangue is the Crown SUV is going to cost around $35,000 or something like that. Purosangue 12 times more expensive than this design up here, which is crazy to think about when you just look at the designs like this as they are. I really like this design though, and it's not hard to like because it's so similar to the Purosangue. I love that we have the front end going down and sloping down like we have in the Purosangue here as well. The Ferrari has more defined muscles over the front axles. We don't really have that sort of treatment in the Toyota, which is a shame because it would not, I don't think it would be that hard to just raise up this section a little bit more, but then maybe it would be too much Ferrari in the design of the Toyota. I'm not sure, but they're already so close, so why not just go all in and just create some very sporty looking SUVs. The difference in the bottom though is that we have a more of a frowning design on the Toyota, while at the Ferrari it has a graceful smile down here. You can see how the lines go upwards, outwards in this angle, while in the Toyota they go downwards in the opposite angle. Still a pretty good looking front end. Reminds me a lot of the new Prius, which is also a huge improvement, where Akio Toyoda said that let's make a Prius that is great looking and also fun to drive. And I like what he's doing right now. He's creating some nice designs and also adding some sporty characteristics to cars that's been historically very boring to look at and to drive as well. The Prius, and then you have the GR versions of the Yaris and the Corolla as well, which Mr. Toyota had a big part in developing those two. So look at the side view here. This is where I get a little bit confused because I see a lot of different cars in the Crown SUV. The Ferrari, of course, looking gorgeous with the big emphasized muscle over the rear end, which we don't really have in the Toyota, which is pretty natural. I mean, it's not going to be a beast of a machine like the Purosangue, so it doesn't really need those attributes. Still gonna have around 300 horsepower or so. But look at this section here. This line, or this surface treatment where it goes really soft in this area, reminds me a lot of the Lexus RX. And the overall proportions of this thing, with this line of the greenhouse dipping down like this into this very small rear spoiler, and then you have this cutout for the taillights, the proportions overall looks a lot like a Porsche Macan or a Porsche Cayenne, with the side treatment of a Lexus and the front end of a Ferrari. We have the same type of cutout in the lower section like we have in the Purosangue, and we have the same kind of treatment around the wheel arches with this black trim, plastic trim. However, they are gloss in the Toyota, and this look carbon fiber in the Ferrari, as it should be at that price point. But here you can also clearly see the dip in the hood that looks very much like the Ferrari. Although the greenhouse, the start of the greenhouse and the A-pillar is further back on the Ferrari, creating a longer hood than we have in the Toyota. I also like the Toyota extended the entire collar for the A-pillar all the way down until it meets the hood, where in the Ferrari it just cuts out here for some weird reason, and then we have that little piece at the bottom being black. Last but not least, let's just quickly have a look at the rear end of these two designs. Have a look at the design of the taillights themselves. So they even decided to go with 4 separated taillights. They could have maybe separated themselves a little bit more in the graphics themselves of the taillights from the Ferrari, but they went all in here. And you also have the same kind of outline or framing for the taillights like we have in the Ferrari down here. So it's very, very similar all around this Crown SUV, and no wonder people are excited about this shape, because it is essentially a smaller Purosangue. You have some very aggressive air ducts right here, not sure if they are functional. You never know with Toyota. You have the GR Corolla having all functional, but every single hole in the body is a function, has a function. And then you have the Toyota Supra, which like half of the intakes are just plastic pieces that are covered up, so you don't know with Toyota if these are actually functional or not. And then we have this big diffuser in the lower part eating up some volume of the rear end and making this feel a little shorter and more nimble than what it is. At least they didn't put 4 quad tailpipes, bazooka pipes like we have in the Ferrari down here. That would maybe be a step too far, and we don't have, of course, the same kind of aggressive diffuser like we have in the Purosangue on the Toyota Crown up here. Very interesting approach from Toyota. I think they're trying to make their brand maybe a little more sporty than what it's been in the past, and a little bit more exciting designs. But let me know what you think about this Crown SUV. As I said, I think it's coming to the US based on just logical thinking. They brought the weird SUV sedan here, the normal Crown, so why not bring the proper SUV over here as well? Let me know what you think about this design. Are you a fan, or do you think they would have maybe be better off going in a more unique direction with the design? I'm personally not sure. It looks good, but does it really look like a Toyota? I'm not really sure.